Welcome to another episode of the Grappling with Life podcast. Today I'm with a man who needs no introduction. Gabriel Romani. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming. Jazakallahu khairan. For those who don't know who you are, why don't you just give us a little introduction, inshallah.
Bismillah. So I'm from Romania originally. Born in Romania, moved to Canada, converted to Islam 2003, first year university. Alhamdulillah. Did my uni in biology, psychology, neuroscience and cognition. And then moved on to get a teaching degree. And then I basically moved to the Middle East, worked as a teacher, became a school principal and a counselor. So a lot of my work is around counseling, dealing with youth, education, development, and so on, personal development, and working with young men specifically, developing young men, helping young men. That's one of the things that I've seen early while being a teacher. That's where I caught it. And my question was like, what can I do? What kind of career or path can I have that I can fix at least one problem in this world?
Sure.
Right, that was like my main, direction. I said, "What? There's so many problems in this world. Let me pick one." I said, "Okay, this is passion. There's a lot of passion in it. Dealing with those young boys. I was teaching these Bedouin boys in the desert.
Whereabouts in the Middle East?
I was in Abu Dhabi first. It was a desert area called Rahba, and I learned so much. I mean, I was supposed to teach them English. I think I learned more from them than I taught them.
Was it like that film Gangster's Paradise?
I don't like that, believe it or not. But
the
like
Arab
version of camels and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, literally.
So it was literally camels, and
man. Yeah.
no tents, obviously.
There was tents as well.
Serious?
Yeah, mashallah. It was proper.
Wow.
I learned a lot. But yeah, I kind of...
So, sorry to interrupt you. So, what year were you in the Middle East, roughly?
2009.
So,
2009
when did Dubai start to kind of like pop?
No, it was before that.
It was before it started to pop, right?
Yeah. You're talking about like late 90s, early 2000s.
Right, okay.
Really exploded. Burj Khalifa came up and all that.
Yeah. But you were on the outskirts of that, right?
Yeah, I was on the outskirts of that.
Okay.
When I went there, things were still quite okay. And things started changing fast. I was there for about 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're Arabic, you speak fluent?
Alhamdulillah,
mashallah. He's going to expose me right on the podcast, bro.
Not fluent, but conversation.
Alhamdulillah, good, mashallah.
Yeah, so, basically that's what I've started doing. That's my background. I do a lot of counseling now and educational consultancy. And I deal with a lot of like mental health issues for men, young men, and so on. So that's kind of my background.
So education consultancy, how does that...
So I work with different organizations. Let's say someone wants to start up a school, Islamic school, or wants to fix a failed or failing Islamic school. They kind of hire me. I go in, do some inspections, give some recommendations. We work some programs. Sometimes I stay with them for a few months or a year, just kind of get things going. And sometimes just a quick fix, depending on what the needs are.
MashaAllah. Yeah. So, you said you studied education. Was it like a postgraduate? We've got something here called a PGCE.
Kind of like
if you heard of it.
Yep.
Was it like that?
Mm-hmm.
Was it in Canada you studied?
It was in Canada.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
But my passion was, I started with biology and psychology, neuroscience and cognition. Like, how does the brain work? How does the mind work? Feelings, emotions, depression, anxiety. How does that impact our behavior specifically? And how does behavior impact the mind? So how does the mind impact behavior? How does behavior impact the mind? And so on. So that was one of my passions. I always wanted to understand the human.
So how did you get into that?
Because of depression. I was depressed.
Right.
Yeah. Growing up, moving to Canada, there was an identity crisis. I didn't realize it. And I think a lot of people don't realize so today when they have an identity crisis. I've only caught up on it a bit late. There was a cultural difference, huge cultural difference. In Romania, I was like, I want to go to Canada. It's going to be amazing, right? The American dream and whatnot. And then you get there and you're like, I'm not feeling it, right? It's just something's not right. It's not, and you're not able to. You don't know how to define it, the words to use or how to understand your feelings.
So you were 14 at the time,
I was 14.
So it's literally right in the kind of body changing.
Exactly.
Brain chemistry changing. Now you add all the kind of moving and adjusting to that as well.
Adjusting to that, right. So basically at the peak of your puberty, kind of pushing, becoming a man, understanding your body, your feelings, emotions, and so on. And then you get confused as to what's going on. You hear different people talking about different things.
Did you have a strong Romanian accent at the time?
I did.
Or do you speak like this? Like
Kind of, yeah.
a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Did you get like, so there's that element of it. Did you speak English when
I
you got
did.
there?
I spoke English because I learned English very early.
Okay, right, okay.
And many other languages like Italian, French, and so on. So we're very
Mashallah, that's
language
wicked,
in Romania. Yeah, so reaching Canada, I mean, that's kind of, I think, around the age of 16, that's when I kind of got into depression. And that got me to try to understand myself. I mean, I went to the doctor, right?
Okay, so it was that bad, yeah?
Yeah, people said, okay, go to the psychiatrist. You're not feeling well. Someone advised me. I went there.
Was it your parents that advised you?
No, my parents were already divorced. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Actually, actually, no one knew what I was going through. No one.
And you have no siblings or anything?
I had my brother. He passed away about 2 years ago. SubhanAllah. But so it was about 16. No one knew what I was going through. It was tough. I just decided somehow. I read somewhere, psychiatry and whatnot. So I went and saw a psychiatrist, and I think the way he dealt with me, it was from this secular perspective, the very materialistic perspective. It's kind of like, okay, so what are your symptoms? Kind of talked about it. I didn't feel comfortable enough to open up, to really talk to him about what I felt, which was the first red flag. I said I wanted to, but I couldn't. His demeanor, the way he approached things, was just not very conducive to that. And kind of looked into the statistical manual for diagnosis, and he kind of looked at it, okay.
He looked at it?
Yeah, I'm going to prescribe these pills for you. Because it's kind of like this, like, these are your symptoms. Like, that's how it kind of works. These are your symptoms, and this is what we prescribe. This is...
Like you would, like, I've got a flu, basically. It's one you took it on that.
A lot of psychiatrists like that. Right. Things are changing a bit now, but a lot of psychiatrists like that. So he gave me these pills. I remember leaving the office, looking at the pills. I wanted to take them because I was feeling... Do you remember what they were? I can't remember. It was Prozac or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at
this was Canada, not America,
Canada,
right?
Yeah.
Do they give them out like sugar, like pills, like sweets like in Canada as well?
Yeah. So I was looking at the pills and I was like, man, like I feel like I need something, but I don't feel like my substance is hurt. I don't feel like my
mechanics.
The mechanics. I feel like my spirit is hurt, my soul. You know what I mean?
SubhanAllah, look at that.
I feel like my soul is hurt. I knew it.
At 16, yeah?
Yes, there was a lot of deep thinking.
So would you say you were a very emotionally intelligent person? In the sense of in touch with your...
I don't know if I could... Because to be emotionally...
Sensitive, the word is sensitive,
yeah.
sorry.
I was very sensitive. Right. Emotional intelligence, you have to have grasp on that.
Yes.
And I think that we're going to talk about that as well. Because that's the problem. Like, so I was very hurt, and I remember I chucked them up in the garbage, and I said, I'm going to deal with this myself. And at that time I was Christian. I was very practicing. I was very in touch with God, and I felt that was the issue. I felt that my main issue was that I don't know why I'm here in this world. In Romania, when you have a very uniform culture, very homogeneous, it's kind of like whatever, you're Christian, everyone's the same, you go in the same way, no issue. Coming to Canada, and people are different. Everyone's got different ideologies, ideas. I met the Muslims, I met the Hindus, I met the Buddhists, I met different kind of people, right, from backgrounds. Everyone's got a different energy. That confused me. It confused me. So I
Did you meet any Muslims?
Oh, yeah, from the beginning. And that was also confusing because in Romania, we were taught that, Muslims are so bad, they're terrorists, they are pagan. And when
Pagan?
Yeah, pagan, yeah. The moon god.
Wow, they actually said that they believe that.
Romania's got this whole history.
Vlad the Impaler situation going on, yeah.
So the crescent for Romanians, like it's a big thing. It's a sign of the Ottoman. And so they obviously they worship that.
Wow, yeah. I didn't know that I know because I've met Romanians obviously, and I see there's a bit of a standoffishness when it comes to Muslims, right?
Not Muslims, to be honest, Muslims, yes, but in general, a lot of the Romanians think that like Turks are Muslims, Muslims are Turks, that's it.
Right, so it's more of a Turkish thing,
It's a Turkish thing, right? But I mean, it's extended now that people have traveled and have met different Muslims from different ethnicities, it has extended. But yeah, we used
I
to
didn't know that, you know. So, just to kind of go back to that bit. So was that something that was like passed down through osmosis, kind of?
It is.
Or was it taught in schools? Like this
taught
is
in schools.
Taught in schools.
Yeah, you have. So in literature, it's all the stories, all the the literature around it. Then you have poems, like we are memorizing poems about the strength of the Romanian army, about the greatness of the Romanians and the pagan invaders.
That's sick. Well, that's very.
I still remember some of the poems. I still remember some of that, and about Bayezid, Sultan Bayezid, Sultan Bayezid.
Right.
Sultan Murad, Sultan Fatih. There's a lot of that. Jazakallah khair. Get that chai, mashallah. Bismillah. So that's there. It's in the history, of course, the history books. You're just being conditioned. You're being brainwashed to basically hate Islam. You know what I mean? So it was tough because you meet Muslims. So I met Muslims in Canada, and it doesn't match. You're like, what's going on? Nice people. You got Africans. You got Arabs. You got all kinds.
So your
of people.
paradigm's been.
Yeah, it was totally contradiction, right? I said, wait a second. What I've been taught and what I see is different. I mean, these guys were messing about and whatnot, kids, right?
Yeah.
But still, there's something there. Their connection to their faith, no matter what, was much stronger than my connection. And that also threatened me, confused me. And I thought I was religious. I would go to church like twice a day.
Twice a day?
Yeah, no joke.
Every day?
Every day, going to school and coming back from school.
So was it like nawafil?
It was kind of like that.
Was it fun though? No. It's just like you just sit on.
I just felt like going there and just
you just sit on the what they call pews?
Yeah, and just praying and just.
Interesting. And you were Catholic, right?
It's weird. I was baptized in 3 churches: the Catholic, the Orthodox, and the Unitarian.
Right. And what's the difference between? I know what Catholic and Orthodox is.
Yeah.
But what's
Unitarian is basically they don't have the Trinity. They only believe in God.
Okay.
My grandfather.
So they're the Salafis, bro.
They're the ones with Tawheed.
Tawheed, yeah, exactly, yeah. Mashallah.
That's how the Bosnians embrace
So
Islam.
there's no Trinity in the Unitarian Church?
Yeah, exactly. So that's how the Bosnians were like that. So when the Ottomans came, it was actually easy for them to convert because that area was very heavily Unitarian. Transylvania and Romania is still very heavily Unitarian.
Right.
Okay. So there's still a lot of remnants about that. So the Bosnians converted to Islam quite easy if you look into the chronicles, because they already had a very similar belief.
Very interesting.
But so Serbs were not the same. Or the
Serbs
Croats.
were
Serbs were Orthodox and the Croats were Catholic. Ethnically speaking. It was all Yugoslavia, but it was like that.
So subhanAllah, I can imagine the conflict you were going through, man.
It was crazy. I would literally not be able to sleep. And I didn't know why.
And high schools in Canada, are they the same that we see on, like, I don't know, TV here? Like, you got the groups, the jocks, the whatever, the nerds or whatever, and very cliquey, very. Yeah. Did you do any sports in school?
I did, yeah.
What did you do?
I played football, obviously.
Football as in?
Soccer.
So it's football then?
Football,
yeah, proper football.
English football. We call it football in Romania too.
Right, okay.
When I came, I was like, soccer. I was like, what is soccer? When I came to Canada, I was like, what is soccer, man? Soccer. And I was like, what?
Yeah, so you played football?
I've always played football, and I was always doing martial arts.
Okay, mashallah. So what martial arts did you kind of deal with?
I started with Shotokan.
Okay, I did
karate
as well, mashallah.
Yeah, and then
how far did you take up to black belt level?
No, I think I was blue.
Okay,
or something like that. Yeah, and then I went to I got into Kung Fu.
Okay.
Then I did Ishinru. I don't know if you're it's like a bare knuckle.
Easy, bruv.
Yeah. I discovered
Ishinru.
Ishinru, yeah.
Is it Japanese?
It is Japanese, yeah. It's not a very familiar, like
is that
famous
Google it, bro?
Yeah, Google it. Ishinru, yeah.
How do you spell it? Ishinru.
ISHINRYU. I think so. Yeah.
Ishinru. Yeah.
Yeah, you can look it up. So yeah, I was doing that, and I met a lot of brothers there. They're doing that. A lot of the guys, Muslim brothers, were doing that. That was one of my.
Was that in high school? Yeah.
It was in high school. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then got into like Muay Thai and.
So Muay Thai is the solid one.
Yeah.
Muay Thai is like. How long did you do Muay Thai for? Are you still doing it?
Yeah, still doing it, inshallah.
Do you train under someone or? I know you travel quite a bit, obviously.
Yeah, I've trained there with the Maidies. It was called Maidies. was in, I think, Alfred Mady. He's an Arab Christian guy.
Oh,
He's one of the world champions in bare knuckle breaking bricks. Whatever. I mean, he's a cool guy.
Did you ever break bricks and stuff?
No.
Oh, okay, right.
I don't see the
boards don't hit back like Bruce Lee said.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, that's good. So you've always been in
I was always doing sports, and I think
and
that helped a lot. That really, really helped a lot. But again, as I said, I wasn't sure what the heck was going on. I wasn't able to understand myself, and definitely I wasn't able to speak to anyone because I felt very shy.
Did you have friends?
I had friends, but again, you can't open up.
You're insular, more kind of.
Yeah, I wasn't comfortable to do that. So there was a huge battle inside. And I remember, I think grade year 11, there was a final exam in English. There was this question. Like I studied so hard, it was crazy. Like I was very good in school. It was weird because I just didn't match the profile of drinks, right? Like I was always messing around and whatever, playing, like, but I was always very like top class. And I wasn't like...
I hated guys like you, man. Because you'd get really good grades. But
I was really.
Did you study at home and stuff?
I studied. I did put in the work.
Course,
I would put in the work, but it's weird. Like it wasn't matching. People were like, they would hate me, especially the girls in the school, in the class.
Yeah.
Because girls are usually like better.
Yeah, very good.
Man, girls would hate me. Math class and like biology. I would like in advanced courses. So I remember in English, I studied really hard. It's final exam. And I'm expecting all these essays, multiple choice, whatever questions. And the teacher just writes one question on the board.
Ooh.
That's it, one question. Write an essay, respond to this question. To this quote, some of the greatest battles of the world were fought within the quiet chambers of the human heart. Right?
Did one teardrop drop down?
Right? It's the greatest battles of the world.
So you still remember it to this day?
Yeah.
So repeat that again, sorry?
Some of the greatest battles of the world.
Right.
Were fought within the quiet chambers of the human heart.
That doesn't sound like a question to me, bro.
The question was...
What was the question? Sorry, go on.
Like, basically...
Extrapolate.
What do you think about this? Like, write an essay on this. Bro, I wrote, I think my hand was like, I was going to burn, Like, I couldn't stop.
Okay.
I think I learned, like, I wrote like 27 pages.
In the exam?
Yeah. I remember I was the last one to leave, and the teacher was like... She's like, I read it. It's like, it was hard to understand. your handwriting was crazy. But she's like, I felt, she came and talked to me after. She's like, I felt, she's like, something's going on, right? And I was like, nah, I'm okay. She's like, no, you're not.
So you found it as an outlet.
Yeah, I really, it was. It's
like opening
that's when
valve.
I realized what was happening, that I needed, to do something about it.
It's probably like 16 years old, man.
Yeah. It was tough.
So what happened? So 16. So the school system in Canada, is it similar to here? Well, high school goes up to 18, right? Or is it 17?
Yeah, 17.
17, and then you go to college after that.
Yeah, you go to college.
Right.
Yeah, but I changed school, so up to like year 10, then our school closed. Up to year 10, I was in the school. It was very multicultural, a lot of Muslims, a lot of Africans, a lot of Arabs. Then that school got closed. I had some issues. I got suspended. Got sent to like anger management.
Oh, you got suspended?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got into some fights and got sent. That's again. I was realizing I had issues when I got sent to this, like, it was called Turning Point. It was like this counseling for like troubled students. So I had to go over there for 1 week. I was looking around. I was like, I don't really belong here. Like, what the heck am I doing? There's all kinds of druggies. Yeah, because I wasn't like. I mean, even the principal was like shocked. He's like, I wasn't expecting this from you. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting this from you. And I was like, yeah, I don't expect that for myself either.
The principal of that place?
Of the school.
Of the school, right.
Yeah, like when he brought me in, when he suspended me, he's like, man, I wasn't expecting that. Because I was like one of the freshmen, juniors, the only one who was starting on the football team forward. Like, they knew me, They were very proud of my achievements. So like,
But how did it let it get to a point where you get excluded, man? That's what I don't understand.
Again, I think...
Was it because you weren't opening up? You weren't...
It wasn't opening up, but there's also no support.
Yes.
Like, where can a man go, even today, and comfortably say, I have a problem, without being judged? Where, honestly? Young man, adult man, who, at that time, I mean, you're talking about, what, 20-something years ago. Today, till today, we haven't fixed this problem.
Yes, sir. I mean, sometimes it's like your coach sometimes that they become your counselor, innit? Like,
but can you really open up?
It depends on the relation. No, not fully. I mean, it depends on,
right.
Yes, you're right.
Because I think that relationship, when you know someone, you're almost afraid to disappoint them. So it's a two-way thing, and you don't want to
destroy the image of you. Basically.
Exactly, and you don't know how that person's gonna react either. Because a lot of times people think, look, I thought I can open up to you, but the judgment card comes on.
Or they don't have the tools.
Or they don't have the tools.
To
exactly.
Help you, yeah.
So, I reached that level, and I got suspended. Anyway, school closed, changed schools, went to another public school. It was more like a white school, more Canadian. Got into another fight, got expelled.
Do you remember what it was about?
Yeah, subhanAllah, it was interesting because it was this little kid that was riding with us in the car, and he bought a pair of shoes, and one of the football players, American football.
Okay, right.
I think he had the same shoes, and he said he stepped on him or something. So I felt that was an insult. So I jumped in to defend him. Then that became a big issue. And we were the new kids in the school, and these guys are. So it was an issue of ego and whatnot. So that
dhulm, you couldn't stand the dhulm.
I couldn't.
The oppression.
I just didn't. And it was amazing because it was a big fight, and it's called Curry Park Brawl. the principal came with a camera and recorded him. There might still be some footage of it somewhere.
So a riot, basically. You caused the riot.
It was a big riot because it was like about 300 people.
So 300 people.
Yeah.
So I'm getting. So 1 second. You were riding in a car, or is it a coach?
No, the
school bus.
The kid was riding with us, so I knew him. His name was Dan.
Right. So he's your boy.
So he's like, my boy. He was just a young kid.
Right.
And we were going.
Okay. So you're saying riding with us, and he was with you, right? Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
So
he stepped to your boy.
Yeah, I had a car, so I would pick him up.
Okay, I got you.
And in the morning, the guy stepped on him, and I stepped in. So then that guy felt because I embarrassed him in front of other people. Like I called him out.
Right.
So then they.
So where did 300 people come from?
The school.
So this happened there and then.
They advertised.
They advertised it.
Yeah, it was something that. So people warned me. They're like, these guys want to fight you, and they're advertising. So it was at lunchtime. I was just chilling, and they're like, let's go to the parking. Like literally, like a massive crowd of people.
And everyone's fighting everyone, or was just spectators, and then you guys in the middle.
But then it became a bigger fight.
I miss a good old riot, man. It's nothing like it, right?
I know. So we got expelled, but I remember the math teacher said, like, you know what you did? She's like, I respect that. It's like you stood up for that kid. So we got expelled. Then I got sent to. I couldn't go to a public school again. I had to go to Catholic board.
Right.
So I had to go to Catholic school, St. Joe's. So I did like year 12, and we used to have 13. Year 13.
It's a lot of upheaval, man. In that small period of time.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's great, yeah. So
I understand why you travel so much as well. There's that spirit inside you, innit? That's restless.
A Bedouin.
Yeah, you gotta. You're better with that heart, man.
It's like Ryu, bro.
It's like Ryu, exactly, man.
Subhanallah.
Wow, that's a lot to happen in such a small. You moved country. You're going through all this stuff. You have to changing. Schools, environment, getting into fights, moving up. That's crazy in a small period of time.
Yeah, and I had one of my best friends get killed at that time.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, he got what's called Asian death in 100 ways. These guys were. Yeah.
Were you in feudal Japan?
He was a Muslim family.
How did he die?
So my brother and him, and these Vietnamese guys were drug dealing. Right. They were my friends as well, but I didn't get involved in that. Sometimes my brother would use my car without my permission and I found some coke on the floor one time. It was weird. It was the weirdest thing because I was driving, I dropped my phone, and I saw like powder on the floor, the mats.
Yeah.
I got up, picked my phone up. My brother was like, I look in the back, the police behind me. I froze. I swear to God, I prayed. I said, "Oh God!" I froze, bro. I was like,
"That's bang to rights right there, man."
Yeah, you're done, And I signaled. There was a car wash that was coming to right. I signaled, and my license was suspended as well. So I signaled. I turned. They left. I just pulled into the car wash. I just sat there, and I was just praising Allah. In my way, just Allah, no Jesus, no nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so these guys were dealing drugs.
What did you do with the coke though? That's what I
I vacuumed it, bro, and it was a lot.
Oh, okay. It was a lot.
Like you could,
So your brother's moving big weight.
He was moving big weight, yeah. Yeah, it was like, it was a lot. I vacuumed it all. I didn't even think about it. No, it was like...
Did you do...
No.
Check the grade ladder, yeah?
I never smoked, I never even... like.
But coke is another level, man. That's like...
Yeah, these guys were moving heavy
devil's
stuff.
dandruff, what we call it, man.
So what happened is my friend Randy, he's Algerian, bro.
No.
Algerian from Belgium. Yeah. Algerian. Yeah, Randy. I don't even know his Muslim name. All I know him is Randy. He was my desk mate and very good friends. And like I would ask him about Islam and he was like, nah, And him and his cousin Mo, my brother.
There's always a Mo, man.
There's always a Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were dealing. But Randy was like a small timer. He would like just do small things. But I guess he broke into one of the Vietnamese guys' house and saw something. The guy had a camera, caught him, took him out somewhere in the fields and literally broke his bones and chopped his head with an axe and cut his private part and stuck in his mouth. And it's called death in an Asian death. So that's
raggo. We say it's called raggo, being raggo. That's too much.
Yeah,
man.
that had a huge impact on me.
That's crazy.
It really traumatized me because I love that guy, man. He was such a nice guy. He was really,
but
really...
to die in that fashion, man.
He was 15, man.
15 years old.
15. Yeah. So, yeah, these things kind of had an effect on me,
It really makes sense, your route as well, like going into teaching, therapy. Your story really does resonate with me because I kind of had a similar route to you in the sense of, obviously we grew up in a rough area here, but after my experiences, I had this real sense that I didn't want anyone to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
100%. And that drives me to this 100%, day.
100%.
So I feel like it's part of my DNA, man. Sometimes I don't realize, for example, I had to kind of stop myself doing this, but when I speak to someone sometimes and they have an issue, I'm compelled to help them. And sometimes, as you get older, you realize sometimes you need to give people that space to, but before when I first started teaching, I would take things home with me, man. Like mentally, like you'd hear something and a child would disclose something to you and you're like, oh my God, I'd go home depressed, man. Like I'd take it on. And it took me a long time to kind of trying to compartmentalize things because you can't function, man.
Can't.
And hearing your story, obviously it's not exactly the same, but what you talked about, the different identity, being, obviously we're first generation Algerians in this country. Yeah, we didn't really have many Algerians our age. Yeah, so there's the cultural aspect.
Yeah,
and then you've got, are you British? Are you Muslim? Are you Algerian? Are you whatever it is? Right, you got all this stuff that you're fighting with. So yeah, it really does. Like what you've, which is what we're going to go into next as well. Is all the stuff that we went through as kids and what's happening now as well with us. I'm talking specifically to young men.
Yeah.
And I think at 16, I had a similar experience. Sorry, okay.
Allah.
Yeah, we'll break in about 2 minutes, yeah. But I forgot what I was going to say. What was I saying?
You were 16.
I was 16, yeah. We can end it at that. But yeah, as in at 16 years old, you get to that age where you're looking for something. Now you're trying to, you have this identity that, who am I, man?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's that restlessness and a lot of damage can be done as well. I feel like, those... You got 7 and above, right? I think it was it Hadith or Ali radiallahu anhu? Yeah, the first 7 years, second 7 years. And I think in the first 7 years, you're on the bosom of your family, right? Yeah. You've got your father, your mother. The second 7 years is the transitional, you're kind of in between the two, right? You're finding out about the world and stuff. I think the third 7 years is where
that's it.
The damage can be done if it's not really kind of looked at. So I think we'll stop there, inshallah, and then we can. This is kind of the main part of the podcast, anyway, which I'd love to go through. But we'll pray salah. So we'll see you guys in a second. Okay, and we're back. Gabriel, barakallahu fik. So let's just pick up where we left off. I think we missed that one bit where, like, just tell us how you even came to Islam. So between the period of, you know, like high school, whatever, you went through this horrific kind of situation with your friend, Randy, yeah. And then talk to us between that and you becoming Muslim, and then.
Yes, when I got kicked out from that Canadian school, I went to a Catholic school. That was the only board that would accept me. Yeah. And I mean, as a Christian, I wasn't identifying as a Catholic or whatever, just Christian. I mean, I would go to all these churches, not a problem. As I said, I was baptized in 3.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, I was questioning some of the religious teachers in the school on some doctrinal issues, Trinity and so on. I was reading a lot more because I was trying to cope with my depression through faith.
Yeah.
I felt it. I felt that I need God. I need to find out what's going on. I need to know who I am. What's my purpose in life? These questions were very clear in my mind. They became clear as time was passing, going through all these difficulties. Like my parents divorced a few years before that, and there was all these issues happening. So I was, in my mind, I'm like, I feel like God wants something from me. I need to find something. Just didn't know what it was. I know medicine's not going to do it. I know sports was helping me. I know I couldn't talk to anyone. I just needed to fight alone. So I was praying a lot, though. I was praying a lot.
How would you pray?
I'll just pray to God. I think I've left Christianity at that time.
Well, as in physically, how would you do it?
Okay, so I would just lay in bed and pray.
Right.
I'll just lay in bed and pray. I would wake up and pray. I'll be on the bus sometimes, but I'll drive and pray, whatever. And there was a period of time where I would go to school and literally like turn around, like I would see the door entrance and I'll just go back. Just like go around, just walk, just not go to school.
So you wouldn't even go to school?
I wouldn't go to school, yeah. And yeah, they would call me, where are you, what's going on, and so on. And I'll be like, I think at that time there was a law where if you're like, I think I was already reaching 17, whatever. If you can excuse yourself, like you're considered.
No way.
Yeah, so I was just like call in and just say I'm not coming. And
that's the most Canadian thing I've ever heard in my life. That's cool, yeah. So literally I
skipped a lot.
So you wouldn't even be marked as absent, or
yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, you'd be like excused, absent but excused.
And it's not like by law you don't get
yeah, they don't call your parents. They'll call you. Like you give them your number and they'll call you because now you're considered like your own person. It was pretty chill. Like school is quite chill there. Like you don't have like you have periods. It was almost like the last part of my high school is more like university.
Oh, it's like college here.
Yeah, almost like college. You got a few periods and you have free. You can go, come. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I see. Right.
So I like that. But yeah, I mean, at that time, I started questioning some of the religious teachers, talking to them about the Trinity, about the Bible. Yeah. I felt like I need to get more. I was praying a lot. And I remember I went to a party. I didn't really drink or I never smoked. But I remember that time I drank and I was driving I had this convertible car. It was a Nissan 300 ZX.
Oh, I love those cars.
The T-tops. You know what I'm talking about, right? The red one, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was a 19...
They're not flip lights?
No, they don't.
No. But they slant a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's got the T-tops, the convertible.
Yeah.
So I remember, it was at the party.
Oh, yeah, these ones.
That's it. The red one right there. That's one. Yeah. No, wait. No, it was the white one.
The white one. That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They're so fast, man.
They got the twin turbo one, yeah. Oh. Back in there. So it was like a 1992. I can't even remember what it was. Even now they're expensive. But yeah, that was the one.
Cars,
that's the older version.
The flip light ones, isn't it? Yeah.
So I was, I remember I was driving back home from this party. And I had a religious discussion at that party with this like Italian guy. And I remember it was just this depression took over me. I said, wallahi, bro, I was driving through red lights with my head up in the sky. I'm not kidding you.
So you just wanted to...
I just wanted to just
khalas, it's done.
Yeah. So, and I remember I laid back. I got home. I was drunk. I laid in bed. I went to sleep. Had this very vivid dream. I was at a party and... It was dark. It was like this house was very dark. And there was a girl that came up to me. And she was trying to dance with me, right? And all of a sudden I felt this blade in my stomach, like she knifed me, She stabbed me. I looked, and she was like looking at me. She like literally just stabbed me. And I felt like it was so vivid, it was so real. And I pulled out and I started walking against the walls, and I walked towards the end of the house, and there was the door towards the backyard. And it was dark outside. And I looked up in the sky, and it was like this light, and I just went like towards it. And I woke up. And subhanAllah, I woke up, I was like drenched in water, like sweat. And I was crying. Crying. I got up, I was like shaking, it was cold, and I was like literally, right? It's like, I felt like I wet myself. And I felt, I don't know.
From sweat, obviously.
Yeah. We have this, in Romania, this culture, if you have a bad dream, it's like something bad's going to happen. I went and checked out, my mom's okay, I tried to get a hold of my brother, everything's fine. I remember I couldn't get over it, and I was like, there was this thing in me that was like, it's a sign, it's a sign. I gotta find something. And I've interpreted like, obviously the sky, the light, God, I'm wasting my life, what's going on? I need to get serious. So that's when I started really saying, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna, whatever the truth is, I'll just take it. Doesn't matter from this culture or that culture, whatever it is. The truth is the truth. Doesn't matter what I am, what I'm not. The truth is the truth. And I felt that that's the only thing that's going to save me from this depression, is to just find out, like, what is the truth? Like, why am I here? Am I here for, okay, I'm in Canada after all these years now, left Romania, the whole American dream. I'm not happy with it. I got a convertible car. I can get whatever girl I want. Like, that's the funny thing. Girls were chasing me. I didn't care, man. And it made it even worse. Because they were like, it's coming. Like, everyone was like, why not?
Yeah.
And I didn't. I could care less. But I was sports, like the whole fame and all that was with me at a very young age. In the newspaper a lot. They didn't have social media back then, but I was in the newspaper a lot. I still have some of the clippings, by the way.
What, for the sports stuff?
Yeah, for stuff. Yeah, and for martial arts. So I didn't care,
it's that
man.
trifecta, isn't it? You got the social, the mental, the physical, and then the spiritual. That spiritual bit was
not there. It was not there. So I said, I need to fix myself. This is where it is. I'm suffering. I know God exists. I know there's no doubt about it. But I know Christianity is not the truth. And that's why I left Christianity. I just couldn't believe in it anymore. And it was tough because you're Romanian, you're Christian. That's it.
Yeah,
that's your identity, right? You leave that, you leave your identity. Who are you? I don't know who I am. I have no clue. I started praying like a Muslim, even though I was not a Muslim. But I was doing my own thing, like just making sujood. I felt sujood was something that really helped me, man. And I remember that Jesus also fell in prostration on his face, right? I said, SubhanAllah, we don't do that. So one thing I didn't mention, throughout this journey, there was a Bosnian brother who was always with me. His name was Kamal. He was my boy. He was always with me. And he would always do da'wah to me.
Oh, right.
Always. I would do the wrong da'wah to him. He would do da'wah to me. So he would never give up prayer, man. He was always praying. We literally would be out at the club dancing and whatnot. It was like Isha time, or he'd be like,
SubhanAllah, look at that.
Gotta go. It's like 10:30 at night. In the summer, Isha's late. It's like, bro, come. We'll go like back alley.
That's so strange.
He'll pray, and I'll be sutra, like I'll just make sure no one passes, no one messes, drunk people, whatever.
Yeah.
So he'll pray. Let's go. back and I asked him one time, I said, bro, I was like, look, I pray, but I don't, it's like, you're praying on time. Like, I said, why? We're like in the club, and God, the devil, what's going on, right? He's like, it was very profound. He said, I know I'm wrong. This is the one door that I'm never going to close. Salah. He said, I know one day I'm going to walk through it and I'm going to change. Right? He said, I'm going to change. So I said, okay. I respect it.
So you had that one shield that was protecting him, the Salah.
Yeah. I was respecting that. I was respecting it. And subhanAllah, years later, I remember one of the thieves.
Yes.
I can't remember which ones, but if it was Malik ibn Dinar or I'm not sure. But anyway, it was funny because like the guys got robbed, and I think he said he had nothing but dates, right? So he's like, no, I can't. He gave it to her, and he's like, why didn't you have it? He's like, I'm fasting. He's like, what do you mean you're fasting, right? He's like, we just robbed us. Like, you're robbing people. Yeah. You're fasting. He's like, no. He said, because I know. He's like, this is the one door.
Yes.
Towards Allah. That I'm never gonna. He was fasting like Mondays and Thursdays, like the Sunnah fasting. It's not even Ramadan or something, right?
We've all crossed those brothers. Well, Zach, you said something today, didn't you? About the guy. There's this young boy on TikTok or something. He was talking about it. Listen, he goes, I've met some guys. Yeah, he goes, they've shot someone, but they don't eat Haribos. They got gelatine, bro. What are you talking about, bro? But I just saw you shoot someone yesterday. Yeah. It's like,
but it's deep, isn't it? Because a lot of people say that's a contradiction. That's just so stupid. It's not. Depends. Because if you have you're wrong. Some of these guys, they just, as we talked before, right? Just a man can switch overnight.
Yes.
All it takes is just the right inspiration. Can change overnight. So when you have that door that's open to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the connection, and you walk through it, one day you're going to walk through it, and that's it. Right? That's it. You walk through it and you commit. And if you look at the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, I mean, man, people, they get a bit iffy and weird. I get a lot of negative feedback when I talk about the Sahaba. But you see, if we don't talk about their jahiliyyah, how do you connect, man, to these guys that you told me about in like South London or East London?
True, man.
How do you connect to these guys? Because they see saints.
Yeah, they're not saints, man.
Right? They see the Sahaba saints. You're talking about Khalid bin Walid, Khalid bin Walid, Abu Bakr, or anyone, right? Radiallahu anhum. Like, I can never be like that. Yeah. So what do people do? They lose hope. And Allah says, "La taqnatu min rahmatillah." Don't ever lose hope of Allah. Like the Sahabas were not coming from a good background. I'm going to be careful with my words because I've said some things before and I've given evidence and people are still like, man, how dare you speak like this about the Sahaba? I'm like, dude, read the hadith, man. What you're doing is you're cutting the connection. There has to be a connection between people and role models for us to be inspired. There's no connection. You can't connect to that person. You're not going to be inspired. You're not going to be able to change.
But even them, they would think back on their own jahiliyyah.
And talk about the jahiliyyah sometimes.
Well, wasn't it a Sahabi that used to drink and fight jihad?
Yeah.
They had to tie him up. Or was it?
It was Abu Mahjan. Radiallahu anhu.
Yeah, he was a drunk. When I read this, I was shocked. For the first time.
He got tied up.
Yes.
And then the wife of the Amir released him.
Yes.
And he went and fought, and then she tied him back up.
Yes.
And the Amir was like, I thought I saw him.
He
fought like him. Like, woman, what'd you do, huh? Like, no. But I mean, he turned the whole thing around.
Yes.
The whole battle. One guy, man. Right, because these guys have some proper skills.
Flaws as well. Yeah, skills. Yeah, of course. But some of them were deeply flawed.
But this is the problem with our ummah today. It's the problem with our like. There's a lot of tazkiyah today, bro. There people really we portray ourselves. I'm not saying talk bad about yourself. The Prophet said Muslims should never speak bad about themselves, but we're also very much into like this holier than thou mentality, and this is killing us because it's paralyzing you. You're not able to move forward. Look, Khalid bin Walid, right? He messed up big time. I don't want to talk about it because people they get very sensitive.
I think I know what you talk.
A few times.
Yeah.
Did the Prophet take him down? Didn't take him down. He was back right into the field right after. Even when Umar Khattab took him down, he smashed the Persians. Man.
Yes.
Like the move that he pulled is just unprecedented in military, strategies.
The one where they
crossed the back from the desert, right? Which
was it was a route that was never taken, right?
It
was impossible.
It's impossible. And the way he did it was just genius, right?
SubhanAllah.
And imagine you get taken down from your lead position. Any man would feel like, man, you've just bruised my ego. You would deflate. He's back into it, man, as a foot soldier, ready to do it. See, look at his caliber. why can't we, I'm not saying that we should give a license to commit sins or make mistakes. We all work towards that, right? So there's a difference between someone who's a criminal, who's a mujrim, and someone who's a sinner. Right? There's a difference. A criminal is like, they're in it, they love it, they continue to be on it, they're on it, you know. There's a sinner who knows they have that door that's open always, right? The one, the fasting, the whatever, the dates, the salah in the alley, whatever it is, the dhikr, something. I'm not eating haram meat, something. Yeah. I quit everything in Ramadan, but then I'm back at it. They got something, right? And those people, they're very authentic, they're very organic, and they got skills. And when those people change, and it can happen overnight. Remember, Al-Mahdi radiallahu, he's gonna change overnight. And then what comes after is just amazing. And I think this is where we're going wrong in our ummah. I'm not saying that we don't judge. Umar Khattab said we judge people on their actions, no doubt. But I think our approach is we put people down. People have a lot of skill, a lot of heart. We have a lot of practicing, praying people, but they're cowards, man. And one of the greatest problems we have in the ummah is the issue of the heart. We're cowards. And the Prophet said very clearly, when the Sahabas asked, when, you know, the famous hadith about the dish, where everyone's gonna, the dish.
Yes.
Right? And the Prophet ﷺ, I mean, they asked, Ya Rasul, we're gonna be few.
Yes.
He said, no, it's gonna be a lot. But he said, you're gonna have this thing in your heart that he defined as hubbud dunya wa karahiyatul maut. Like, what is that? It's being a coward. So you got a lot of practicing, very like, mashallah, you know, salah. I mean, people judge today's standards just by salah. You should, it's a default. You should pray. But just because someone prays doesn't mean that they're a good, you know, man or a good Muslim. The munafiqeen used to pray. Okay, Fajr and Isha was difficult on them, but they still used to pray, even those. Just because a woman wears niqab doesn't mean she's going to be a good wife. You know what I mean? It does, like, let's not be so shallow. You know what I mean? And I think we're killing a lot of talent by closing the door. You know, they might not close the door. Hope we shut it in their face, man. And they don't feel welcome. They don't feel like they have someone to talk to. They don't feel like they can change. They don't have hope. They feel like, man, we're so bad. But if you tell them, for example, one of these stories of one of these Sahabas and like, man, they did that, that means I have hope. I think they can change overnight. What they can bring to this ummah is something amazing.
But I think one thing when we started this podcast, was something I was adamant in, was I didn't want to put on a persona. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we spoke outside, right?
Yeah.
I'm the same now, right? I'm not kind of like...
You don't want to put on a show, man.
I'm not here to put on a show, you know? Yeah. And I feel like, when I was teaching, the one thing that I tried to do was make myself accessible. Yeah. You know? Because a lot of time they see a Muslim who's got a beard and they feel like you're... You know, there's this term I really hate called the Haram Police.
Haram Police.
I can't stand that term, yeah, because if it wasn't a religious thing, say for example, I did something, well, you don't have the right to tell me that thing what I was doing was wrong. Mm-hmm. But because it's something to do with the religion, now it's become something. Does that make sense? Yeah. Where you have to be better than that person to give advice, or you shouldn't give advice if you're not. So it's kind of like, especially young people now, they feel like they put you on a pedestal sometimes.
For sure.
I did a podcast with Brother Dilly. I don't know if you know him from 5 Pillars. I don't know if you know him. So we talked about, you know, the idea of, because you're a practicing Muslim, that you're somehow meek, right? So they can just do whatever to you, and you have to. But I thought you're practicing. Well, you kind of slap the crap out of them, and then you know, you can't step to me like that and expect me. I'll slap you, then we'll discuss afterwards, right? I mean, we're not. What I mean by that, let me clarify what I'm saying. What I mean by that is, if you overstep boundaries, Yeah, my tolerances might be more than yours, right? I'll tolerate a little bit more, but every man has a line, bro.
No doubt.
Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if you get head kicked or taken down, and then we can discuss afterwards once you've paid for your crimes.
That's right.
We can have a conversation, bro, and we can be the savage servant, right? I have laws that I live under, that I govern myself with, yeah, and none of those laws require me to be someone who should be taken advantage of, because that's not what a man is. A man has boundaries, man.
No doubt.
Do you see what I'm saying?
100%.
So, which leads me nicely to the subject that we're kind of, because I really wanted to kind of discuss with you, which is this buzzword, masculinity. Yeah. I feel like, I'm old school, man. Like, when you're the same age, yeah. And we talked about my father, Allahumma, may Allah bless him. I don't talk about my father enough, but he's had a big impact on me, a huge impact, especially from this masculinity aspect.
Right.
And he always taught us, me and my brother, that you're a man. Yeah. And he had a chip on his shoulder all the time. He was a child born after the Algerian independence. So my grandfather was around during the occupation in Algeria, right? So they felt a lot of, and especially the Algerian culture is very masculine, you know. We have ghaira, which is jealousy over your women folk. Yeah. It's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
You know? Even when I went back home, I'll tell you a little story was, I went on a bus, like a seria, you know a seria? The small ones. I sat down next to a woman. Not even thinking, because I thought I was on a 253 bus. Everyone's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? Are you crazy? I just heard the woman go like this. Oof.
Oh, mashallah.
And I thought she's talking about someone else. Obviously she's talking about, then the guy grabbed me from the back of my, goes, get up, get to the back where all the single men are sitting. Yeah. But it was like that, I don't know what it's like now. This was in 2003.
Different, man.
I'm sure it's different, but that's the stock we came from. My father built these things within me, man. And so a lot of the stuff that I learned from him was not through what he said. It's more from what he did. Those are way more powerful, you know? Just things like when we'd go out, he'd make sure my mum was safe, my sisters were safe. He'd scan the area, or where he would sit when we sit in the restaurant. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or like, for example, he would make sure no one's sitting next to my mum.
Allah Akbar.
He'd make sure I'm sitting next to her, and so we're sandwiched between, little things like that, And I see myself doing that now with my wife and my own children, and I'm passing that on to my own children. And there are certain things that, obviously, I speak a certain way to my wife. Does that make sense? Like, my mum wouldn't take anything from my dad as well. Like, she would demand respect. Not that my dad would disrespect her. I mean, she's not like, she's gonna, like, if my dad was wrong on something, she would tell him, right? And he would react in a way which is, okay, all right, fair enough. Like, but he wouldn't cower, and there was this kind of relationship where you're witnessing as a child, right? So my question to you is, have fathers failed this generation of men? And I feel like this red pill movement, and like it's, well, the first part of the question, I'm not asking you to solve the problem right now, but we can discuss it, right? So, have fathers failed this generation of in your experience?
I think they have, and we need to understand why. It's not that they just failed themselves, as in that they were not good enough. There's been a lot against them. And but we're to be held accountable as men. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this huge responsibility of being qawwam, being the Khalifa on this earth. And I think we've lost that. Now, see, when you do something wrong, you have your fault, and then you have the influence
Say that again, sorry.
You have your own fault because
Yeah.
you choose to do what you do.
Right.
And then you have the external factors that influence you to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Like the waswasa, shaitan, the fitna, whatever. There's always external factors. So the external factors that when we're looking at this question, you're talking about 1965, sexual revolution. You're talking about feminism, first wave, second wave. You're talking about the educational system. You're talking about the rise of LGBTQ. You're talking about media, right? You're talking about Hollywood, Bollywood. You're talking about internet, social media, right now to TikTok. People don't realize, man, this is, total past learning history affects who you are today. Every bit of information that you absorb in your daily interaction shapes who you are or who you're not. Right? So yes, we are at fault, but there's been a lot against us, specifically men. This whole movement, it's reactionary, maybe. We look at the history of masculinity. Some men didn't behave properly. We have to admit that. Like when Islam came, look at how it rectified the problems of that society. Like the men of that society were not behaving well towards women. They're inheriting women. They're burying women alive. Women had nothing. You know what I mean? They couldn't. They just were nothing. So men were bad. There was some bad men. There was some bad men in the history of mankind, no doubt about it. We don't wash our hands from that. We don't escape from that. It's true. But you don't fix that problem with another problem. But it's a reaction. It's a reaction.
A pendulum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So women kind of said, we had enough. There was also some men, again, who understood that and capitalized on that. And they said, hey, we could support this and we could eliminate a lot of the competition of the men. Make them weak. We're going to be the strong ones, the 1%, the top tier. Good. So actually, feminism was founded by and funded by the Rockefellers. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. And when it entered the curriculum, the educational system, a lot of the schools in New York, a lot of the schools their curriculum was designed with this in mind. Gynocentric. Women were performing now better. The schooling system, the way it was done, it was more oriented towards the female. Like you sit on this chair, you have to be very agreeable, which is very much in line with the female nature in general.
So.
And guys were now slowly. It's like, imagine you take a lion from the desert and you make him a chihuahua. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what happened, bro.
I just remember this one, I don't know if you remember this cartoon called Futurama.
I remember.
There was one scene which describes this perfectly, yeah? There was a demonstration outside this cartoon character's house, and they were talking about vegetarianism. Everyone should be vegetarian. Right. I go, look, we've even trained this lion to be a vegetarian. Right. And they cut to the lion, and the lion's like this. It's just like this. Yeah, the whiskers are all bent and everything. Right. And that's exactly like what we've become, that vegetarian lion, man.
But there's a history. It didn't happen. It was systemic.
Yeah.
The food that we eat, the educational system.
You really think that, bro?
Yeah, I think so.
Seriously, you think that? Because I heard this. I can't remember where I heard this from, but it says that if you sedate men in this way, there's no one to fight your power. That's kind of like where that comes. So you're saying that if by promoting feminism in this way, they're removing the competition in the sense of they won't. If we do something so outlandish, they're not gonna fight back. Basically,
look at democracy, bro. Let's take it as a system, right?
Yeah.
What is it? People think that they vote and they have some. You kidding me, bro?
No.
Okay, even if you vote and you select your representative, how much are you involved in the decision making of that law that's going to be passed? You as a voter, you just selected him, appointed him, but he makes his own decision. Their parties, whatever it is, they're gonna. I mean, you're talking about 20, 30, 50, 100 people who are changing the course of the world. You think that I've selected them But are you able to actually get into on that decision? But the rule of the law of the people? Come on, are you kidding me? It's a joke. So it's only that little segment of society that actually leads the world. This is true, and it's facts.
Yeah.
No, none of us have a damn say in anything.
What was that quote, Gabriel? Some people are equal. No, all men are equal, but some men are more equal than others. George Orwell. I don't know if you. We had to read Animal Farm or whatever.
Animal Farm, that's it.
And that's literally what it is.
But see, and they dismiss it with conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Right. Oh, it's conspiracy theory. You guys are watching me, and they put it in the movies to desensitize you. All this
tinfoil hat, kind of
all these things. Right? And people are like, oh, so it's true. It happens, but then people are like, you're watching too many movies, man, because they've seen it, you've seen it, so they dismiss you. It's easy to dismiss.
It's like hypnosis, almost like this.
I just look at the facts, man. Look at the world. Like, who people are talking about? Oh, masculinity and this and that. Who is the oppressor? Like, how many a man? Which guy wakes up and goes to clean outside and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna mess up women today.
You ain't got time.
You don't have time, man. But there's those people who really have the power. And it's there. It's seen, it's known, and they do things, no doubt about it. Yeah, whatever. There's a lot of they inflate things, people write, they write. Of course, it's all for show. But again, don't miss the point. The point is there. So there's a lot of things that are against us as men. There always have been, and there will be even more. So yeah, we failed because we've been hit hard, been smashed hard, and we also accepted that. Like in a fight, if I come at you and just back off, man, I'm gonna smash you, right? Yeah. You get in the corner, get caught up in that corner against the ropes, and you just get banged, right? And so probably if you've been to a fight, like sometimes you just don't know where to pick yourself up from. What are you supposed to do? So a lot of people just crunch up.
Fetal
and
position,
they just, and just, right? Exactly. And you get smashed. You're supposed to just say a big Bismillah Allah when you swing, man, just get out of there.
Yeah.
You got to get, but we just backed off. Look, subhanAllah, how aggressive these groups are. They're very aggressive, bro. Look how they pushed. Look how many laws they passed, legislations. They've infiltrated into the educational system. What do you mean you're teaching people about dipping bananas in Nutella, man, to teach them about anal sex? And this is passed in Ireland as a law in education, and people are not pushing. It's like a couple of meetings here and there, a couple of videos. What happens after a month? It's just news, man, old news. And things get passed through. That's the thing. If you don't...
It's really strange as well, Gabriel, is that literacy rates in some areas, they're so low. Maths, it's STEM subjects. Right. I'm pretty sure if you go to Eton College, which is where all the prime ministers send their kids, I'm pretty sure they don't have time to learn about those things because they're learning algebra, bro, and learning how to count and learning how to read properly. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's kind of like, for me, is that I'm interested in you teaching my child how to attain a proper education. Now, it's fluffed. And the thing is, if you think about a school curriculum, let's be honest, bro, how much percentage is that kind of study?
A lot.
It's about 1%, not even that. Not even. Why is there so much attention brought into that? Why is there so much legislation over something that's only 1%? Not even that, 0. Because when I was younger, it was all about stopping teenage pregnancies.
Right.
Yeah, there was, because I think the UK, I don't know if it's still the case, it was one of the highest rate of student pregnancies. Right. And so they did sex education class and all that stuff. But why am I being taught that, bro? Because I don't plan on having unprotected, sex with someone I'm not married to, bro. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not even in my wheelhouse, bro. Right. Do you see what I'm saying? And I feel like even that, how does that solve the problem? And there's another thing. It doesn't really solve the problem because we still have the issue now.
But it makes you curious.
This is it. It might even exacerbate the problem, bro.
It does. That's exactly what it is. They start putting these ideas in your mind. And that's where you can see that there's an agenda behind it. Just look at the rise. Look at how aggressive they are, how much they're insisting on doing this. A lot of parents are just, they're too busy, man, to fight back.
I was going to speak to you about this, Gabriel. Like, this is another thing that really, because obviously as a parent, I know we're both parents, we have these, we have similar, every parent's going to have this going through their head. Yeah. Now, the responsibility of bringing up my child is me.
Yeah.
I'm responsible to bring up my child. Now, what's happening is that's been taken away from you now. Now the school does everything. Now, someone who's been taught, has taught in schools and stuff. I don't have time to raise other people's kids, man. But I can barely, like someone who's got like ADHD or Asperger's or autism, I can barely get them to sit down and write a sentence. Yeah. And then now I've got to teach the guy about all this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like what? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's ridiculous. It's kind of like taking a sledgehammer to an egg, and I feel that because, and to go back to the first question about have we failed, sometimes as a parent, you don't need to go on holiday every single year, bro. You don't need to go to holidays twice. You don't need to get the latest PlayStation. Work less. Honestly, man, work less, man. Like, spend more time with your children, bringing them up. Yeah. You, as a Muslim, or if you're taking something away from your child, you have to add something to it. You can't just say you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Then what they're going to do? They're going to go and look for it somewhere else.
True.
So I feel like the consumerism, because a lot of the reason why some of our families moved over to the UK or US or Canada or wherever was for monetary.
Right.
So you've come and you want to make as much money as possible. So you've got a job, your wife's got a job, the kids are being raised by the streets, man, and the schools. And then all of a sudden, your kid's 17, 18 years old. You don't even know the guy, man.
No.
Or the girl. And these are the guys that are on TikTok.
Yep.
Pulling pranks on their mums and dads. Bruv, I saw one prank, Gabriel. Uqsimu billah. If I ever did that to my dad, I wouldn't be sitting there talking to you today, bruv. He would have shot me, bruv. Yeah. And he goes, you'll be sitting in jail smiling.
Yeah, that's it.
Bruv, they phoned the dad. They said, listen, the police are following me. I was speeding. I'm going to get a ticket. So I said to the police that my dad's fell over or something or had a heart attack. So when I open the door, just pretend that you've had a heart attack. So they've opened the door, grown-ass man, on the floor going, ah.
Allahu Akbar. Wow. Subhanallah.
Yeah, I got knocked out, bro.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing
I'm sorry,
with,
I would have stomped you out myself, bro.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with, man.
How can you do that to your dad, man?
This is what we're dealing with, right? People have lost their morality, they lost, degenerates, man.
And disrespecting your parents like this, man. Well, subhanAllah, my dad is my honor, bruv. If my dad gets disrespect, that means I'm not worth nothing, man. Another one of some girl like saying outlandish things in front of her Arab dad and getting his reaction. Yeah, I'm like, bruv, for me that would be one video, and then the account would be say one video. You know, like when you get the TikTok account, it'd be one video, and that's it. It wouldn't be even suspended because I wouldn't be alive to cancel the account. Do you understand? Yeah. Like another thing, Horrid Henry. Have you heard of this program? This is a cartoon called Horrid. It's a book. This guy, he's just taking the mick out his parents, bruv, the whole time. I said to my kids, we came on TV. I said, if Horrid Henry was Horrid
Zach.
Horrid Abdullah, it'd be one episode, literally.
Discontinued.
It'd be like Horrid Henry had started and then he died at the end of the episode because his dad stomped his head against the staircase, bro. But you see what I'm saying? So these things, it's like, but as a dad, how are you letting your kid boy you like that for? How are you letting your kid get to a level where he's chatting to you in a certain way? That's because he's probably lost respect for you. That's because you've broken your back to get this nice house, 2-car garage. Yeah, you've got all the stuff, but you're empty, bro. You've given everything. You've got nothing else to give. Now you're overweight. Yeah, you've got diabetes, hypertension. Your missus is the same. Yeah, Miskina, she's got arthritis in her hands, and then you got these 20-something-year-olds or living in your yard with TikTok accounts. SubhanAllah, how did you get to this point? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then your son's doing Instagram videos on, oh, look at my eye color. What's all that rubbish about, bro? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know.
This is how you line up your beard. Bro, I'm not coming to you to line up my beard, man. Do you see what I'm saying? SubhanAllah, sorry, I went off on one, bro.
No, that's it. An existential crisis, bro. Like, we don't have real issues. Like, look at all these issues, right? Like, what are people complaining about, man? It's not like you got bombs dropping over your head, brother. You depressed about what? What are you depressed about? Because you can order food on your phone? Or you can, connect to anyone in the world? What are you depressed about?
You know, the worst thing is, Gabriel, you kind of on your Instagram, Habibi, you're on your Instagram. You see a family of Palestinians getting evicted from their house. Next one is makeup tutorials. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
You're desensitized. That's it.
Or a guy's posting on his stories, pray for Palestine. Next one is a picture of him eating his food.
Yeah.
It makes me sick, man, because how do you go from, oh, you know what, let me just repost this on my story, to, you know what, I'm just eating a kebab. I don't get it, bruv. How do you jump from that to that, bruv? It's because we don't really
care.
Yeah.
We don't really care. There's no authenticity anymore, brother.
It's, let me show that I'm pray for Gaza, bro.
But do slogans, all these slogans, no one cares.
Pray for Gaza, bro. Do you really pray for Gaza, though? Have you actually prayed for Gaza? Do you actually pray?
It's not even about that, bro. I think we've become a just make dua, brother culture. Just make dua, brother. Like, you hear that, right? I said, brother, let's do something. No, but just make dua. Right? Okay, what are you going to do about it? We're not saying here, we're not calling people to do something stupid.
No.
But what you going to do, man? Inna Allah la yughayru ma biqawmin hatta yughayru ma bi anfusihim. Allah doesn't change the condition of people till they change themselves. What do we change? Like, first thing, you got to admit that you suck.
Yeah, 100%.
If you don't admit that, like, a lot of people have this ego. They're nothing, but they portray themselves as something. And it's so easy with social media. You're a loser. But you look like $1 million. So easy, bro. It's so easy. You go to Dubai, you rent a car, go around. You're nothing. You're zero.
You got a Bugatti.
You got a Bugatti.
That waste, man. This is Dubai, Habibi. Bruv, that guy, if I find him on the street, bro. Kef 1,
boom.
Kef 2, bruv. This is Louis Vuitton. Ascot, Himar.
Louis Vuitton. They go.
You know that guy?
Yeah,
have you seen that guy he's paid by the Dubai tourist board. I guarantee you this, bro.
Go into a Ajman China market and you get the Louis Vuitton, bro. Fake ones. The fake ones.
Yeah, easy, bro.
It's all fake, bro.
Bro, don't you feel like grabbing him by his ears and just
crazy.
Boom?
It's crazy.
It's
but this is what you get, right? So you got all this fakeness. Everyone can get a platform. There's no more authenticity. There's no more substance, and people pick it up, man. Right? So how do you compare yourself to these non-Muslim superstars that people look up to? Why do they look up to them? Because there's a need. People resonate. People in their fitrah, they like, look at what's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ? We're talking about children. We're talking about fathers failing. A human being going through their developmental stage, the way Allah created us, is that we model according to an example. Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, what do? All of us, look at us here. All of us here are trying to model it somehow. May Allah forgive us for our mistakes and our shortcomings. But we're trying to model ourselves according to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. What is it? It's copying someone, man. Like, what is, when people say I'm on the Sunnah, it means you're trying to copy someone, i.e. the Prophet ﷺ. It's innate. It's in us. Human beings, the first person they want to copy is their parents. When their parents are not up to standard, what are they going to copy? So they keep looking. It's like they're misfiring here, looking somewhere, till they catch on to someone that they can connect. Influencer, whatever. You got a bunch, right? First thing we do is the little children take a phone, put them in front of the TV. They'll catch on to someone that they can resonate with, and they'll start modeling according to that. The way they dress, the way they talk, the way they do their hair, whatever it is. It's in all of us, man. It's in all of us. Whether we like it or not, even myself, there's something, things influence me.
100%.
I know that. When I pick my clothes, there's something, I catch myself. It's the truth. But where's the Muslim models, man? Where's the role models for the Muslims? How are you going to fix the problem? Okay, have fathers failed? Of course they failed. When are we going to bounce back? When we're going to have at least one generation that can get it right. Do you have to be perfect? No, Allah didn't create this dunya for us to be perfect in it. That's why there's Jannah. But at least we should get majority of things proper, or at least we should be genuine. Like the Sahabas, were they perfect? Radiallahu anhum. No. But Allah said, Radiallahu anhum wa radwan. He was pleased with them. That's what it takes. Is your Lord pleased with you? Oh, are you perfect? Man, I can give you example after example. Discussions, differences, conflicts among the Sahaba, man.
Course, yeah.
When the Prophet passed away, the fitna that came after, bro,
Straight away
amongst
as
the
well.
Sahaba, bro.
Yeah.
The fitna in the time of Uthman, radiallahu anhu. Bro, it's like people don't know. We live in this ideal, the masjid, the khutbah brothers, we have to be nice and kind and mashallah and this and that. Bro, let's get to real issues. Because in the way they solve those problems and some of those conflicts, there's solutions for us for how to solve today's problems. But if we're not real, we're just going to play around with this like, oh, holier than thou Islam. I'm not saying to be bad, but just like, let's be real. Then we'll find some solutions. We'll get to those solutions. We can get some fathers to start manning up and acting properly, and their kids are not going to look at Ronaldo and whatever, Messi and all this rubbish, or whatever, Thor. It's going to be like, my dad.
Yeah.
It's my dad. He's not a coward. My father, like the way you talk about your father. Like how many men you hear them talking about their fathers? As you said, they just swear at them. They think my dad's a loser.
Yeah.
Most young kids today, I used to do this survey with my kids in my classroom. I said, who's your role model living? None of them would say my dad. In a Muslim country, bro, it's like Eminem, bro. Imagine black Arabs saying, Eminem is my life. They'll say, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Stuff like that. He was like, he's my life. I love him.
My life.
Yeah, my life, man. I remember, my students, I'm like, what's wrong with you guys?
Empty vessels, akhi.
Empty. So when are you going to look at your father and say, man, that's it? When your father's going to be it. When he's going to do something. When he's going to stand for something. We have no mission in life though, bro. I ask my clients, I say, what's your mission in life? What do you want to do? They'll give me their job. Oh, I want to be an engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm a doctor. I'm like, no, bro. What's your why? Why do you wake up every morning? What's the first thing you think about when you wake up? Right? We should do our adhkar. And then what's the first thing that comes into your mind, pops into your head? Most people hate their jobs. Most people hate waking up. Most people can't even wake up for Fajr, man. What drives you? What's your big why? Why do you do this? Most people have no answer. And that's where we messed up. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it very clear. He said, إِنِّي جَعَلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Right? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And even that's been distorted.
Can you translate that just in case?
I've not created the spirits and men except to
worship.
Serve me.
Serve me, sorry.
Right? And that's where the problem comes, man. When people say ibadah, they think, I pray.
Yeah.
I fast. Yeah. And then? Right? Just make dua, brother. Just do dua. What more? Like, are you kidding me? You see, that's the beauty of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. When you look at the previous scriptures, they've all been distorted. Why? Because there was no fortress to protect. Right? As Imam Malik said, As-sunnah safinatun Nuh. Sunnah is the ark of Noah. Whoever embarks on it is safe. Get off it, you're destroyed. The sunnah protects the interpretation of the Quran. Previous nations have messed with the interpretation of their holy scriptures because there was no context. Things were mixed. We have context to everything, bro. Like details. So we can understand. So if you think that Islam is about praying and fasting, that's what the Dutch did to the Indonesians when they sent their missionaries to study before they colonized them. And they came back, they look, if you want to convert these people to Christianity, you're not going to be able to do it. They're too attached. But you can reduce them to think that Islam is in the masjid and praying.
Rituals.
And that's what it is, bro. Bro, look at the masjids that we built, brother. Right? One of the Imams said, he said at the time of Prophet ﷺ was small mosques. Like you're talking about palm tree, man. We can pray anywhere, bro. The whole earth, as the Prophet ﷺ says, has been made as a prayer place for us. But he said the people who were in those mosques were giants. Today, we have giant mosques, mega mosques, but minuscule people. And that's what it is. Because the Prophet ﷺ was not focused on building buildings. He was focused on building people. That's tarbiyah right there. Right? He didn't focus on building buildings. He focused on building people. And these people, akhi, as Abu Mahjan, we're talking about him, radiallahu anh. Yeah, they had mistakes. But the mistakes didn't stop them from doing what they're supposed to do. Today, it's like paralysis through analysis. Oh, I'm not good. Oh, I can't do this. Okay, get fat and die, heart attack at 40 because you're not good, Like you're sitting with a tasbih in your hand and thinking that you're holy. It's wrong, man. Like a man has got to do something. A man has to take action. The next generation, come on, do we not believe that we're supposed to lead this world? It is true. We're supposed to. And when we lead this world, actually, it will be better for everyone. Oh, look, bro, just Islam. I mean, come on, facts. What are the main problems in the world today? Let's just, if non-Muslims are watching, use your brain. Don't be dumb. If you go and want to get a job, you're going to look at 5 different jobs. You're going to put on the table. You're going to see which one's offering the best benefits. You want to play for Premier League, you're not going to go for team number 10. You're going to go for team number 1 because it offers the best salary, reason. People are complaining about hunger, world hunger, about abuse and rape and blah, blah, sexual trafficking and all these things, right? They're complaining about addictions. They're complaining about loss of morality, depression, anxiety, all oppression. Well. Yeah. Okay. You got democracy, it allows all these things to happen. Actually makes money from it. Just look at the tobacco industry. Look at the alcohol industry. I mean, now, I don't know in Britain, but in Canada, for example, weed is legalized now. You can smoke marijuana. There's all these ninth cloud shops and whatnot, get high, whatnot.
Right.
Everywhere. You can just, people sit in lines and buy
across the whole of
anywhere, bro. Just go and smoke your head up. And people are getting into car accidents. People are crazy, killing each other, right? Okay, take Islam. Okay, so democracy, okay, everyone's allowed. So you're complaining about something that you are promoting and making money. So what are you talking about? You're a hypocrite. It's a contradiction.
It's a contradiction. Yeah.
It's tanaqad. Okay, Islam comes in power. No pornography, no gambling, no alcohol, no oppression, no substance abuse. You have to pay your zakah. No, bro, if just today, if we would pay our zakah properly, there will be no world hunger.
Yeah.
Really, brother, there's people who have calculated that based on the wealth of only the Muslims in this world. Just that concept, fasting, bro, tahara, okay, ghira, marriage, right, nikah. Bro, people are talking about this and that. Islam would solve all these problems. Why do people don't want it? Why don't they want it? Because they don't want to solve the problems.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion, bro.
They live in it. I was just saying to Zakaria in the car, I said to him, look, we're talking about all these issues. I said, I would love to get a ranch. Yeah, just to go live in a ranch and with my family and stuff. And the first thing he said to me, what did you say to me, Zach?
I said, where?
So I said to him, look here, look how programmed we are. We don't even dare to dream.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Think about it, bro. 100%. We're not even allowing ourselves in our brains to escape, dream about it.
Just dream about it.
Because everything you see in this room, including this table, was in someone's head. Someone thought about it.
Yeah.
And then it became reality. Now imagine now, in the society we live in, they're literally making you think that you can't even believe something.
That's it.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And that's really important that as Muslims, I'm talking about specifically, I know there's not no Muslims listening as well, but especially to the Muslim community, we have become we can't even, we have barriers that we've put up that we literally can't get past, because this whole terrorism, extremism, so what we've done is, well, you know what, if I dare to even think like I want to do something new, and how are people going to perceive me?
Of course.
But I remember, wallahi, I'm not joking, bro, yeah? Like I had, when I was working, most of my colleagues were women. Mm-hmm. And I really perceived that, I was conscious that I wanted to be less of I felt like I was a threat just by being there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I think we move on to the next thing, because it's getting late, bro. What time is it?
We're losing track here.
We're losing track, bro.
When you're a good discussion, it's like, I can go.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah,
because we covered most of this, yeah? So let's end on this, inshallah.
Yeah.
Because
let's do it.
We know what the issues are.
Yeah.
If you was to write out a prescription, right? And someone, let's take a young man. What would be that prescription to get back? Because we're only going to be happy once we fit the mold that we were created in.
No doubt.
Does that make sense?
Fitra, man.
The fitrah. As long as your natural disposition, as soon as you start diverting from that, you're going to, like you said, you felt depression.
Yep.
Like you went through it, I went through it. I'm sure a lot of guys have gone through it, yeah? But let's give them a prescription. Let's end on this, because we don't want to see that two old men sitting just complaining about the world. Exactly.
Yeah, one of my brothers, dear friend, Sheikh, mashallah, he said, I was working with him. Mashallah, he's a very wealthy guy. So we were running some schools. He said, don't come to me with a problem without a solution, man. I don't want to hear it. So solutions are these. We're not short of solutions. We have a lot of solutions, alhamdulillah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left us with a curriculum. Yeah. The difference, the clarity is like the difference between night and day, as the Prophet ﷺ said. We have the curriculum, everything. Everything is clear, man. Like we have, some people, they have to think about, let's study the market, let's understand what we're supposed to do. Like for us, we know exactly what we're supposed to do. We have the Quran, Sunnah, we have the prescription, we have the medicine. We just don't. Our problem is not in not knowing what to do, it's just the modality, the way of doing it.
Right.
So, where are our khutbahs? Look at our Islamic schools. Education, man. Like Islam, people always say, Islam started with Iqra, read. It's so important, right? We always rub it into non-Muslims' faces. Oh, Islam is about education, learning. It started with Iqra because education is what conditions you to change, to take action, right? You learn and you act. What's the point of learning? Allah calls you a donkey with books on your back, literally. People need to understand. You're a donkey with books on your back. We're so happy that we can memorize the Quran. Yeah, but how much do you understand of it? And how much do you implement of it?
There was a famous football manager. He said that knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.
That's it.
And that's knowledge without application doesn't really,
And that's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps saying, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. There has to be iman. Alhamdulillah, we believe, man. People believe Islam, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. We have masajid, we have durus. But there's no action. We need to stop talking. We talk a lot. You got the Mongols attacking from the east. You got the Crusaders from the west. Yeah, people want to say what it's true. And the Ummah was faced with that. And they were debating whether the meat of buraq is halal or haram.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Just for jokes or whatever. We are in this between two huge powers here, struggling it's the war on the minds and the hearts of our children, of our people. We need to stop what we're doing in the khutbahs. We need to stop what we're doing in our Islamic schools. We need to stop what we're doing at home. Women have to play their role, men have to play their role. We need to educate, man. We have the curriculum. We need the imams to stop messing about. No one is saying that you have to be dumb and talk weird stuff because you're in a country where they're going to try and, put you down. But within this system, a lot of people understand, within this system, it's a flawed system. It's a man-made system, meaning it has a lot of loops. If you're smart enough, you can easily influence and change things. Just the way they've changed to this side, you can change them back to the other side. Just look at the way these guys have done it. The problem is that we don't have the guts, the courage to stand up. Oh, you're a terrorist. So what? I didn't do anything. Why should I be afraid to talk? I didn't do anything wrong. So what if I get stopped for 7 hours in the airport? Go ahead, man. I'll be chilling. I just sit down and just relax. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't scare. But they try to scare. The problem is fear. We're afraid. It goes back to that. We're afraid and we're comfortable. And no one wants to remove that safety rope. Yeah. Everyone wants to, do stuff. But you always have a safety rope. There's a safety net. When you remove that safety net, then you have fear. Fear is powerful. When you realize and understand fear is very powerful. It can destroy you, or it can make you.
Yeah.
Right? Once you deal with fear, you feel it, then you can deal with it. You can start doing things even though you're afraid. But if you're always, you might feel, but you got that rope always next to you, you're always in your comfort zone, you're not going to be able to get up. And they're going to give you a lot of ropes, a lot of comfort. Look at the system. Have this, no problem. Have that, support here, there, it's all good. Just to chill. But when you don't have that, you lose all that support. Whoa, wait a second, man, I'm scared. What am I going to do? I'm going to feed my kids. What am I going to do tomorrow? You start acting differently. You start working differently. That's the problem, bro. So
I think it goes to as well, Gabriel, not just Muslims, even non-Muslims.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because I feel like sometimes when you're told, okay, what do I need to do? Sometimes we always look externally, society. Yeah. Oh, how do I fix society? But you know what it is? What do I do in my own house? Sometimes you forget your own house.
Your own house. That's the problem though, bro, because the society is so messed up. Look, even at the Dais, bro.
Yeah.
We Dais have huge issues in our families. Yeah. Because it's all 5-6 people doing the work, man, trying to help the world. And then your own house is suffering.
Own house is suffering, yeah.
Right? But if you look at the Sahaba as well, I think, see, if a man and a woman understand this, bro, and the woman doesn't start back-mouthing you in front of your kids, oh, your father's always gone and this and that, and the kids grow up disrespecting you, hating you. If she says your father's a hero, he's changing this world. It's a different way, the way the kids will look up to. Yes, she's going to sacrifice. Yes, she's going to be in pain. But as that Sahabiya who came to the Prophet and asked him, Ya Rasulullah, I'm coming from the women. We have a message. You men do this, you get this ajr here and there. What do? We just, He said, if you just have sabr and support your man, you get the same reward. And she was so happy. Today a woman I don't want it. I want to do the same thing as you. Should be equality. No, she went back. She's she was so happy. She went back and told the women because they have the easy way. But when your wife talks bad about you because, you're going here, you're helping this, you're helping the no. Then your kids grow up traumatized. I hate my dad. He's always gone. It's so important the way you portray the family, the way the roles are there. Yes, we are sacrificing our lives right now. People think, oh, you're traveling, you're having fun, this and that. Dude, you're suffering. Yeah. But when people think the same way and have the same objective, the why, the big why, the mission, then I think we can change. Slowly the kids, and slowly, the education system, the khutbahs, start messing about delaying things. Get your kids married, man. Get your kids married. Yeah, but they should what? Well, they should finish their education. Says who? Who? What do you want? Okay, finish your education. Who said you cannot finish your education if you get married? Who says you cannot? Look at what's happening. A lot of the problems would be solved, man, if marriage would be pushed down a bit more, earlier. Yeah. People are 25, 30, living single lives from puberty, 15, 20 years alone, and then do you expect marriages to work out? You put two people who have been conditioned to just take care of themselves, literally. Now you have to work it out. It's not going to work, man. Fix these things. Let's work on education. Let's work on our masajid. Let's work on marriage. Let's work on, get boys. Focus on boys. There's a lot of things for girls. Let's work on men. Let's work on where are the avenues for guys to come in and talk without being judged. Where's mental health for men? Guys are depressed, man. Guys are committing suicide. Just recently I heard about one guy they were telling me he committed suicide. Here in London.
What?
Yeah, just depressed. Just his wife that did some stuff and he just committed suicide. And people just didn't, just reach
Suffering
out, man.
silence, man. That's the
just
problem.
Reach out.
And us men, we're terrible at that. You see your brother suffering, you can't even ask how he is because
you're not less of a man if you talk about issues. The Sahaba used to come to the Prophet and the Prophet said, "Ad-deenu nasiha." This deen is counseling. Come. And they used to talk to him but he didn't shun him away. So we need to offer, okay, you don't feel like talking, come to counseling. Let's offer a system where maybe your identity is not disclosed, where you can feel more comfortable. Like I do counseling online. I don't open the camera. People can put whatever they want their name. I don't care who you are. I care about what your problem is. Let's talk. And people talk. They open up. Wallahi, they open up. You're just like, man, istaqrabt, like what you hear. But then you can advise. And subhanAllah, just from listening to someone actually...
You might be holding on to that and then boom,
just open up. Bro, 50% of the problems are gone. Like I didn't even give them advice. Usually in the first, I'll be like, man, I feel so good. But I'm like, I didn't tell you anything. It's just, but I felt like I can talk to you. Like, let's work on that. Women can go, their mothers, their sisters, cry, talk. Normal, it's their fitrah. Where do we come? Where do our young boys, when they feel attraction, they feel shahawat, desires, who are they going to come and talk to? Google it. From there, you're gone. Like, we need to build systems that build people and protect people. And I believe that's why we're doing this masculinity thing. People are like, oh, masculinity. Yeah, because if the driver of the bus doesn't know how to drive the bus, man, guess what's going to happen? Everyone in the bus is going to crash. You got to know how to drive. You got to have those skills. You got to ku anfusakum wa ahlikum nar. Save yourself first and then your family. Allah tells us, like, come on, we need to build on this. Forget about, why are you spending money on a carpet for a masjid, 10,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds, 30,000, the chandelier, this and that, raising. Always, we love to, man, everyone wants to donate for a masjid. Donate for, let's build men. No one wants to do it. We're scared. Oh, what kind of men are you going to bring up? Toxic masculinity, terrorists, this and that. Okay, look at the Sims that are walking around today. And they're leading the community and making more. No one's saying be unwise and disobey the law or break this or break that. Who said that?
But it's simple things, Gabriel. Wallahi, it's like what you said. As a man, there are certain things that are natural to us, right?
That's it.
Being physically fit, like that should be part of your culture.
It is.
In your house,
Should be.
you as the father should be training.
Should be.
And you should show your kids how to train. You know how back in the day, let me teach my son how to shave. Those kind of things? That should be like, right, let's go training. Or do jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, judo, whatever it is. You should be doing something. Why are you sitting in front with your kid in front of the TV for hours, watching football or playing computer games?
Tekken, fighting.
Tekken, exactly. Go out there. And we're not saying do it every single day. And sometimes you don't, with your son, you don't have to say anything. Because sometimes, because you're doing that with them, it's therapy.
It is.
There's
so much research on play fighting between a father and son. The impact of that on
big time
confidence.
Big time. I remember on the mat, like I train with my sons. We've got other brothers in the mat. Brother, the environment is a different, because they can take out that aggression with you.
It's part of a man, bro. Aggression is part of us. You just need to tame it.
Like my dad used to say to me, pussycat outside, pussycat inside, lion outside. Not lion, pussycat outside, lion inside. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't come take your anger out on me and your mum and your sisters or whatever. Get your aggression outside. Don't bring it inside. Yeah. But again, like, there are players, alhamdulillah, in London, we've got loads of brothers that open up gyms. Sure. There's even sisters who've got women's only class. So I feel that part of it. Yes, you got the masajid that can take care of your spiritual thing. But I don't know, man. I feel like as much there's no joined up thinking as well.
There isn't. Look at, see, it resonates with the fitrah. And by the way, I mean, I'll say this. I don't know how you think about it, but I don't like women training, bro, too much. I like it if they know how to defend themselves. They should. But when they get into too much training, they become so masculine. And that's a big issue. They have stuff that women can do that are more conducive to femininity. I've trained my girls to know how to defend themselves. Like, they know how to fight.
Yeah.
But the whole, like, it's really a big
I personally think, I mean, there are sisters out there who are black belts and stuff like that, yeah.
It's not my thing, bro.
I feel like, if you're training and you marry someone who's never fought, there's like a balance, there's going to be a power balance there, bro. Does that make sense? But I don't know, bro. It depends. I just think it depends on the person. But as a
let them go swimming or aerobics or something. Bro.
Yeah, it depends what it is, isn't it?
Cardio,
depends.
kickboxing or something.
But getting
like
punched in the face, bro, that's another level, bro.
That's another discussion as to how women have become so masculine today because of some of the behavior that they're
and the
guys are not doing.
Men.
Yeah, like the guys are not doing martial arts. The women are doing.
Yeah.
The women are in the gym lifting up, flexing muscles and whatnot. Guys are shaving their arms and stuff like that. You know, right?
Shaving their arms, yeah.
That's what they're doing, bro. No, shaving their legs and stuff.
But you know why I say?
Sorry.
I think you're
after hours. Yeah. There's a lot of what you put in this tea, bro.
But what I would say, Gabriel, to counter what you're saying about women training, and I go back to, if you take something away and you don't replace it with something.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I feel. I feel like don't train, but the issue is there's girls around them that have access to all these things. If there's a safe space for them to do it, then why not? But I feel like you said, if it gets too much, it's a balancing act, isn't it? But again, if we keep taking things away and you're living in an environment where they're seeing their
I don't know. I
equals.
mean, that's the thing. I got clients who, like girls would be like, I'm from New York. I stepped into my husband's face. I was like, what you got? I was like,
yeah, that's a bit.
What?
Yeah, that's messed up.
I'm from the
bro.
Bronx. You're like, no, wallahi, this is, I'm from the Bronx, So he had to back down, stuff like that. I was like, what you got? Like imagine face to face.
Yeah, but I would say more about the dude, bro.
No, but that's the thing, right? There's, the polarity will be there naturally,
Yeah.
The guys are being like, okay, you go to the gym, fine. Guys, right now it's the whole guys are on Instagram.
Yeah, I can't stand that, bro. Yeah,
flexing.
Yeah.
But guys are pumping steroids. It's just for show.
Yeah.
You go, and they're like, run away, right? And that's it, right?
But I'm talking about fighting.
Yeah, but how many guys actually?
That's the thing, innit?
And then, subhanAllah, when Khabib fought McGregor,
yeah,
bro, like,
the gym was packed by the way.
It's not even about the people start praying, bro.
Yeah.
Because men resonated with that. There's one example of someone strong. It was not just him fighting. It was about what McGregor said about Islam and about Khabib.
Yeah.
And people almost felt like it's like this is the war, There's someone representing.
McGregor was the archetype of what we've all felt.
Yeah.
We've all met a McGregor, man.
No doubt. All of us, yeah. And Khabib,
Allahu Akbar, yeah? All that rubbish,
that's
bro.
That rubbish.
And you wanted to knock his block off, but something inside you was like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Whereas you're seeing that being played out.
That's it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Bro, people started coming back to the deen more than any da'i. And again, it shows what? We talk a lot.
Yeah.
We talk a lot, but the action is very low. And for men, this manhood is manifested in being strong. It's always been like that. I don't care what everyone says, never going to change, man. The Prophet ﷺ knew how to fight. The Sahabas knew how to fight. There was one only who didn't and used to stay with the women.
Yes.
Couldn't even hold a sword.
Yeah.
Should have maybe mentioned his name, but anyway, he used to say, I'm a coward.
Yeah.
Other than that, bro, there's no one.
But it was part, even in Jahiliyyah.
It's part of their culture.
It's part of the culture. But even you go anywhere in the world at that time, if you're a man, you've got, because there's no police, there's no army, there's no civilization around you.
Your environment would mold you into that. Today, you don't have that.
You don't have that. Exactly.
So you have to expose yourself to that. Like going to the gym, training. The closest to reality would be that. Right?
That's correct.
And you condition yourself. And then when the time comes, like people are like, why are you training? Why this? Because when I'm going to get that call at 4 a.m., that someone died or someone whatever, I can deal with that. Here, I can deal. Or if I'm in the street and my wife is with me or my kids and someone's gonna mess about, that I can deal with that.
But also, you have this energy around you. You know when you train and you know how to fight. When you're walking down the street, people know.
It's different. They feel it. They're not
like
gonna mess with
the other day, I went to the shop and I was walking down the street. This guy was in a cash point. He turned around. He goes, "You train, bro?" I was like, "Look, bruv, I've never met this guy in my life." Yeah. He goes, "Oh, do you train?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You do karate or something, bro?" I go, "No." I go, "Do so." And then I gave him. He said he wanted to come to the gym, whatever. But because of no, look, I'm not a bad boy. Do you get me? I'm not walking around like
charisma, bro.
But sometimes when you can tell someone, it's that masculine energy. Yeah, you walk around, and it's not a threatening one.
No.
It's more like, oh, this guy can handle himself, isn't it?
That's it.
And I think when you're walking with your wife, it solves a lot of problems. Bro. You don't even get into those kind of situations.
No. People they're not going to mess.
Well, I've walked with my wife on the street, and I've seen guys walking. They literally look down.
Yeah.
And this is not Muslims. Yeah, this is non-Muslims.
Non-Muslims.
Because out of respect, not even like.
100%.
And I do the same.
100%.
I do the same. If I see some guy, it doesn't matter whether I look down on. Okay, I'll keep it moving, bro. Because it's just like a nod, like, you know, I see you.
I respect.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, Gabriel, I think we're gonna have to lock this off, bro, because we need to eat as well, bro.
I know.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know you're tired, bro.
I'm good.
I say you're not tired, but it's me that's tired. I'm deflecting, bro. But Gabriel, I could talk to you for ages, and I said I promised. I say this to every guest, but you specifically, mashallah, barakallahu fiqh. And we're gonna keep this 100%. We're not gonna edit anything. We're just gonna put it up, inshallah. Bismillah. Go for it, bro. So barakallahu fiqh for coming. Jazakallahu khairan. And for everyone at home, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and we will see you on the next one.